Hello, and welcome back to the Compassionate Curiosity Podcast, a space where we explore the messy, beautiful, challenging project of being human. I'm your host, Rachel, a family nurse practitioner turned women's wellness coach and yoga and mindfulness teacher at Tranquilo Pa Wellness. And I help young women break free from relentless anxiety spirals that take over their days and keep them awake at night so they can finally relax, restore their energy, and feel clear and confident again. And here in this space, we dive into the stories we carry about stress, self worth, and our bodies, sharing tools, reflections, and lived experience to help you soften the pressure, reconnect with your body, and create more space in your life to breathe, rest, and just be. All guided by curiosity and grounded in compassion. And if you're not already following the show, I invite you to take a quick second here to hit follow so that you never miss a new episode. And I'm so glad to have you here with me today. Today's episode is a shorter one, but one that I think you'll find grounding and empowering. I talk a lot about the wisdom of the body, like how it speaks to us, how it tries to guide and protect us. You've heard me weave this into conversations around stress, anxiety, self worth, body trust. I've shared little glimpses of this wisdom in other episodes, always connected to the topic of the day, but I haven't really paused to gather those ideas in one episode. And I think bringing them together like this can make it easier to notice patterns and start trusting what your own body is telling you. And if you listen to episode 31, the Body Cues 101 episode, you might remember that we explored specific sensations in the body, like tight shoulders, fluttery stomach, a sudden drop in energy, and how they show up in everyday life. And so today I want to take that a step further, looking at how those very same signals hold wisdom that can guide your next choice, whether that's taking a breath, setting a boundary, or just offering yourself a moment of care and attention. And so today I want to create the space for that. And so before we dive in, I want to invite you, as always, to join me in about 3 minutes of just slowing down here, pausing and checking inward. So if you're safe and able to right now, I invite you to make yourself comfortable, however that looks for you right now, and gently close your eyes. And let's start by taking a deep breath in through the nose and letting out a long breath through the nose. And then just let your breath settle into its natural rhythm, seeing if you can follow the path of the in-breath and then the out-breath. Just following and noticing any sensations in your body as you do so. And I want to invite you, while you're in this space right now, to ask yourself this question. If my body could speak to me, what would it want me to know right now? And just sit with that question for a moment and see what comes up. And let whatever comes up just be there. See if you can allow it without judging yourself or trying to fix whatever it is that comes up. See if you can bring compassionate curiosity to that answer. And then come back to your breath, following the in-breath and the out-breath. And then let's take one more deep breath in through the nose. And letting out a long breath through the nose. And when you're ready, gently opening your eyes and reconnecting with the outer world. Thank you so much. So, what value is there in knowing, acknowledging, and learning to listen to your body's wisdom? So many of us grow up learning to push through life, like skipping meals to get one more task done, ignoring fatigue, like staying up late even though we're exhausted, silencing tears because we see them as inconvenient or shameful, powering through a workout when our body is asking for rest, saying yes to plans when every part of us wants to stay home. But the thing is that your body is constantly communicating with you. It holds insights about your needs, your limits, your desires. And a lot of times your body senses those things long before your mind can sort them into words. So when you start paying attention, you're not trying to decode every signal or figure everything out perfectly. Like, I need to know what my body is saying to me or I failed. No, what you're doing is building a relationship here, a relationship of trust, safety, and openness. You're building a partnership with yourself, a true two-way street between your body and your being. And I'd encourage you to go back and visit episode 37 on body peace and episode 30 on body trust, where we go into that relationship in more depth. But each time you notice a signal in your body and honor it, even in a small way, you strengthen that connection and open the door to deeper self-understanding. And that deeper understanding matters immensely because it helps you make choices that actually support your well-being, right? It helps you move through daily life with more ease and presence instead of constant push and pull. It helps you create boundaries that protect your energy. It helps you move toward a life that feels aligned with who you really are, because the more you understand yourself, the easier it is to trust your own signals and feel at home in your body and in your life. So whether you're navigating stress, trying to heal your relationship with your body, or learning to trust yourself again, noticing these signals is one of the most loving and powerful things you can do for yourself. So that said, let's explore 5 common ways the body communicates. And so within each group, we're going to look at common examples of how this can look in the body signals, what wisdom your body might be sharing with you through those signals, and what might be a few ways you can respond to them in a way that honors what your body is asking for and strengthens the trust between you and your body. And as you listen, I want to invite you to just notice which ones feel familiar to you and to see which possible responses resonate most with you, and just make note of those. So, starting with stress and overload, here is what this can look like in your body through the body signals: tight shoulders, a clenched jaw, shallow breathing, midday energy crashes. The wisdom here is that your body might be asking for a pause and replenishment before burnout sets in. So some possible responses, some ways that we can respond to this is by taking a brief movement break, stepping outside, or practicing 3 slow breaths to signal safety to your nervous system. The next group is emotions, and we're going to look at 3 categories of emotions here and how those might show up in your body. So anxiety and anticipation is one. The way that this might show up in your body is through flutters in your stomach, your heart racing, feeling restless energy, sweaty palms. The wisdom your body holds here is that it's letting you know the nervous system is on alert, preparing you for uncertainty or a decision. And some possible responses here are to ground yourself through a conscious breath, orient to the present by placing a hand on your heart and saying, I am here right now, or simply naming the worry or excitement out loud. Okay. Our next group of emotions here is anger and frustration. So, some ways that this may show up in your body is through heat in the face, clenched fists, tension in the jaw, an urge to move. And the wisdom here is that your body may be telling you that a boundary has been crossed or a value is threatened. Some possible responses are to step outside for a minute, do a cooling breath practice, like breathing in for 4 counts and out for 6. It could be releasing energy through movement, like shaking your hands or stretching your arms above your head. And sadness and grief. So, some ways that this may show up in the body is heaviness in your chest, a lump in the throat, watery eyes, deep fatigue. The wisdom here is your body is asking for acknowledgement and gentleness. And some ways that you can respond to this are to allow your tears, slow your pace by sitting or lying down, or reaching out for comfort from someone you trust. The next group here is crossed boundaries and relationship tension. So, some ways that this may show up in the body is a heavy, drained feeling after a conversation, or a sense of ease and spaciousness with certain people. The wisdom that lies here is that your body is clarifying to you who nourishes you and where limits need to be honored. And so some possible ways to respond to that are to notice how your body feels with different people without judging it, and taking small boundary steps like leaving earlier from an encounter, pausing before saying yes, or just checking in with your needs in that moment. The next group here is body trust and self-worth. So some ways that these might show up in your body are a natural pull toward rest after days of pushing through and exhaustion. It could be noticing hunger and fullness cues returning after years of overriding them. So you might notice like a gentle stomach growl, a natural dip in energy that signals it's time to eat, or a comfortable sense of satisfaction that tells you you've had enough. Or this body trust and self-worth can show up as a sense of ease when choosing movement that feels gentle and supportive. And the wisdom that lies here is that your body is reminding you that its signals are trustworthy and that honoring them is an act of self-respect and healing. And so some possible ways that we can respond to that are pausing to check in before eating or moving, like taking a brief breath to see what you notice, like any sensations of hunger, fullness, fatigue. And then just acknowledging anything you do notice without judgment. And then maybe just asking yourself, what would feel supportive in this moment? And our last group here is alignment. So some ways that this can show up in the body are through goosebumps, warmth or a tickling sensation in the chest, an expansive breath, or spontaneous smiles. And the wisdom that lies here is your body is saying yes. It is highlighting what is true, meaningful, or aligned with your values. And some ways that we can respond to this is by leaning into the activity, conversation, or decision that brings that feeling, savoring it fully without rushing past it. And you can savor it by pausing to really notice the details of that thing, like the sound of that person's voice, feeling the smile in your cheeks, closing your eyes and breathing in the warmth of the moment of just being there. So, as we wrap up here, my dear, remember that this isn't about noticing every single signal or knowing exactly what it's pointing to and acting on it right away. The practice here is simply pausing, getting curious, and letting your body have a voice in the conversation. And so this week, see if you can notice just one signal, one cue. Maybe you notice restlessness, maybe tension in your jaw, maybe you notice feeling drained. And see if you can just let that be information. Even if you don't know yet what it means or what to do with it, just acknowledging it is already an act of compassion and connection. And every time you do this, you strengthen the trust between you and your body. And that trust becomes a steady guide for your choices, your boundaries, and the life that you are creating. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. And I'd love to hear from you which body wisdom signal stood out for you and which response feels most aligned for you. Something you have already been doing or that you'd like to try out. And as always, you're invited to join us inside the Compassionate Curiosity community, which is my free email space for deeper reflection, insight, and connection around themes like emotional healing, body peace, and self-compassion. And if you're looking for more personalized support, whether you're feeling stuck in stress tied to challenging emotions, disconnection from your body, or overwhelm, I offer a few free Let Go of Stress breakthrough sessions every month. And in this session, we explore how stress and anxiety might be showing up in your life and what it could look like to move toward more peace, presence, and self-trust. And you'll find the links in the show notes as to how to access all of that. And I want to thank you again so much for joining me today, lovely. And until next time, may you know that you are not alone. I am here with you. May you be guided by curiosity and grounded in compassion. Sending you love, light, and gratitude today and always.